There are moments in life when everything just feels too much. The noise, the pressure, the weight of responsibilities that stack on top of each other until you can't tell where one ends and the next begins. You wake up tired, you go to bed restless, and somewhere in between you wonder, is this it? I've been there, we all have. Moments when nothing is particularly wrong, but everything feels heavy. The emails, the errands, the expectations. You start to lose sight of why you're even doing it all. It's not burnout from one big thing. It's the slow drip of meaningless effort that wears you down. And the thing is, when life gets overwhelming, we don't always need more strength. We need more clarity. Because we're not machines. We're not built to endlessly perform without purpose. We need to know that what we're doing matters, that we matter. But meaning isn't something you find by chasing it harder. It's something you remember by slowing down enough to ask, what am I actually moving toward, and is it even mine? Sometimes we confuse being busy with being fulfilled. We stack our calendars and fill our days with things that make us feel productive. But deep down, we're starving for something real. We check off tasks, meet goals, get promotions, and still feel empty. That's not a failure, that's a signal. It's your heart quietly asking for alignment. I remember talking to a friend who seemed like he had everything figured out. He was running a business, making good money, always on. But one day he said to me, I feel like I'm walking fast in the wrong direction. That line hit me, because that's what so many people do. We walk faster and faster, hoping speed will create meaning. But if the destination isn't aligned with your values, all you're doing is arriving at emptiness. Faster. So what do we do when life feels overwhelming? We pause, not to quit, not to run, but to listen. There's a reason people go into the wilderness when they're lost. Not just physically, but emotionally. Because in the stillness, the noise starts to fade, and your own voice becomes easier to hear. When was the last time you sat in silence? Not with your phone, not with a plan, but just with yourself. Just long enough to hear what's really going on beneath the surface. Sometimes meaning isn't discovered in the big things. It's rediscovered in the quiet, in a morning walk before anyone else is awake, in journaling your thoughts even when they don't make sense, in reconnecting with people who remind you who you are when you forget. And maybe that's the first real step to finding meaning when life feels overwhelming, not to escape the chaos, but to find your own stillness within it. We think we need a life overhaul, when sometimes we just need to start telling ourselves the truth again. Are you doing this because it fills you up, or because you're afraid to stop? Are you pursuing this because it reflects your values, or because it looks good to other people? It's hard to ask those questions, because the answers might require change. They might ask you to walk away from something that feels safe but slowly eats away at your joy. But there's courage in honesty, and meaning grows in the places where your inner voice and your outer actions start to line up. You don't have to have everything figured out. You just need a direction that feels true. You need to trade the pursuit of control for the pursuit of connection, to yourself, to others, to something greater than just getting through the day. And when you start living from that place, even the hard days feel different. You still get tired, but not defeated. You still face challenges, but they don't shake your identity, because you're not just reacting to life anymore. You're building something from within. I don't think the opposite of overwhelm is rest. I think it's alignment, because when you're aligned, even the tough parts make sense. Even the discomfort feels like growth instead of chaos. So if you're in a season where everything feels like too much, maybe you don't need to do more. Maybe you need to come back to what matters, what makes you feel alive, not just distracted or productive, what makes you feel whole, not just seen. And that starts with paying attention. It starts with noticing the small moments that actually move you, the conversations that wake something up inside, the quiet instincts you've been ignoring. Meaning isn't hidden. It's just quiet. It's been whispering the whole time. We're usually just too loud to hear it. So what would happen if, just for a moment, you stopped running, stopped fixing, stopped proving, and just listened? What would your life say to you? What would your soul ask for if you gave it a voice? The answers aren't always immediate, but the silence is where they start, and maybe, just maybe, that's where you begin again.